If you're someone who's thinking about creating your product or service or course and you're in the process of launching and you're just not sure if you should start video marketing yet, this is the video for you. This video is going out to those beginners who are brand new to launching, like I said, a product or service or course online, and they don't know if it's worth that time or energy or effort to start creating video. So first off, if you're here watching with me live, drop me a hashtag live, or if you're watching the replay, drop me a hashtag replay. The more you guys like and comment on these videos, the more they get boosted and shown to other amazing members of our group. So make sure you show some love on this video. I'm also going to talk through, aside from, the reasons that you would want to go ahead and start creating video. I'm also going to talk about like when you would want to hold off. And I'm specifically going to go through some really unexpected reasons that I really don't hear being talked about that much related to creating video if you are brand new, if you're just starting your business or your brand online. So I think this will be an interesting conversation. So I'm excited to jump in and get started. And just so y'all know, if you're catching this live, today is August 26th. Just so you know, I have a brand new free 3-day mini course called the Social Growth with Video course, where I'm teaching you the 3 winning principles to growing your audience with video in 2022. The link is in the description of this video. You can grab a ticket totally free, but if you're watching this live, you'll definitely want to grab a ticket to this. It should be a good time. All right, so let's jump in and let's get to the actual content. So I want to kick this off asking all of you a question. So you can drop your answer in the comments. So my first question is, I want to get a sense of where you're all at. So my question is, how close are you to launching? Are you you're already launched your product or service, you're up and running, you're just here for the fun of it, right? Is that you? If that's you can just comment A. Are you B, where you're really close to launching, where you've been working on your course, you've been working on the product or service, and you're so close, right? So comment B if that's you. Or you could comment C if you're just someone who has still just no idea what you're offering. You really don't have the clarity that you need, and you kind of just been spinning your wheels for a little while. Comment C, let me know which is you. It's totally fine. Whatever stage you're at, totally okay. And that's what we're here to talk about today. Who should be marketing at what point with video? So let's talk about who shouldn't be first, right? Because I want to be really transparent with who this is the right fit for and like who this wouldn't be the right fit for. And it's going to be a little bit of a interesting answer, right? So, so here's the thing. I am really, really big on creating even before you don't have a product or service launch. You're gonna hear my unexpected reasons in a few minutes. But the people that I don't think are ready to, create video are the people who just have no idea at all who they're trying to target, right? So, if you are someone, if I asked you, who are you trying to attract with your videos? And you were just like, everyone. Well, it's like, okay, like that doesn't give us a lot of clarity on what it is you're trying to do. But if you have some general sense where you're like, I want to attract women working on their health, that's a lot clearer. It's not everyone. It's still very broad. And eventually maybe we want to get to know who your person is a little bit more, but at least it gives us a direction. So the person who's not ready is the person who's just like, I have a million things that I want to talk about and I'm not willing or ready to commit to anything, right? And here's the thing. This is why I said this is a weird answer, because I'm going to caveat this a little bit, where you could just, start creating video and explore some topics that you're interested in. But in terms of creating a solid marketing plan that's going to start building brand awareness, the person who's just trying to target everyone and has no idea, is in an exploratory phase, it's just not the right fit starting out. So comment yes if this is all making sense to you so far. I see we have Alma here watching, wanting to launch her membership site. She wants to attract Latina moms and keep working on personal development. Okay. I see we have Rosalind here. Awesome. All right, cool. So let me know if this is making sense so far. And we're going to talk about like I said, the 3 reasons that are unexpected why, even if you haven't launched yet, right, and you're working on it and you're in process, and you have an idea of roughly who your target is, you have a direction, right? These are the 3 benefits of creating video before you feel ready, before you have that product or service or course done. Okay, so let's talk about what those are. So number 1 is experience. And I do not hear this talked about enough related to marketing, related to content creation, where I think there's this misconception that people think that, all right, I'm going to go out there and market and people are just going to want what I have, and it's cool, right? I don't have to do any type of work. But here's the thing. You want to think about your video creation just the way you would building a muscle in the gym, right? You want to think about your ability to speak persuasively the same way you would. All right, I want to run a marathon. I got to get my runs in. I got to get short runs in, long runs in. I got to get strength training in, right? That same mindset needs to be applied to your content creation, right? And I don't think people see content creation as training, right? I think they just see it as, oh, it's just something I got to do and check off my box. Like this right here, this right now, even though I've got 10 plus people on this live right now, people who are listening, I know people are going to watch the replay. This is my mental gym right now. This is me practicing. And yes, am I offering something that you guys can move to the next step to? Absolutely. But it's practice, it's experience, it's building that muscle over time, because that's the thing that's going to make the difference in your videos. When you see this entire experience as something that you are building strength in versus I should just be good at it already. Why am I not good at it? Why don't people care? Right? You see it as a personal endeavor to strengthen this muscle. That's a very different outlook that then yields a very, very different results. Right? So let me know what your takeaways are so far. Let me know if this is hitting home with you. But when I say it's a muscle that needs to be strengthened, what I'm saying is you got to work on your persuasive speaking ability. You got to work on your copywriting ability, right? Your ability to distill really complex topics in a simple way, right? It means working on your tone. It means working on your body language, your ability to like literally just stare into the camera, your ability to connect with your audience, your ability to choose highly engaging topics, right? These are muscles, and these are muscles that have to be strengthened, or, otherwise you end up falling flat, right? So I hope you're truly seeing that, like, if you haven't launched your product or course or whatever it is you're trying to launch, and you're like, should I create video? Yes. Yes. Not even just to sell, but to work on you, to work on learning how to powerfully connect with your audience, to build those muscles. Because here's the thing, when you do want to sell and you don't have those muscles developed, right? What are you going to do then? Like, then you're like, why is no one buying? Why am I not connecting with my people? Well, you haven't done the work to strengthen those muscles. It's not just a given, right? So it's so important. Start strengthening now before you even have those things ready to go. And I'll give a personal example here before I move on to the next thing. Before I was, a video coach, and I have this business now, video marketing. I was a leadership coach. That was my first online business. If you've watched any of my videos, you've heard me talk about this before. But here's the thing, like in my first few months of being online, I literally had nothing that I was selling because I was like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing, right? Like I had courses I was working on, but here's what I did exceptionally well, if I do say so myself. Every single Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, I would go live and I would just practice. I would put together slides. I would put together scripts. I would practice in front of the mirror. And it was just like, I would go to Toastmasters. This was before the pandemic. But I was doing all these things to build up this muscle to get really good at speaking, to get really good at communicating in a powerful and direct and transformational way. I was building up those muscles, and I did that for months, and there's no call to action. There was nothing. I was selling nothing. It was purely just building those muscles. And here's the thing, when I was finally ready to sell, right, I had all these people that were there, that were listening, that were, already engaged. And when I was ready to sell, I had those muscles built where I had the confidence. It wasn't the first time that I then was trying to communicate with my audience. All right, so let me know, comment below. Let me know what your biggest takeaway has been so far. But this is reason number one for why you should create video, even if you don't have your stuff launched yet, is gaining the experience, building the muscle, and not just expecting and feeling entitled to a result without actually putting the work in to generate the skill set. All right, so that is number one. Number two, and this is actually one that I'm really excited to talk about this one. Reason number two that even if you don't have something launched to create video is just experimentation. And when I say experimentation, I mean being okay getting on live or recording a video and being okay, like exploring an idea that is not fully fleshed out, exploring an idea that you have in your mind, but isn't like 100% clear yet, right? And so I think there's this really, really big, what's the right word? Really big like misconception that like online you have to be an authority 100% of the time, right? Like you have to have everything figured out 100% of the time. Like if you're going to put something out there, it has to be fully fleshed out. It has to be fully thought through. It has to be fully put together, right? Because if it's not, what if you look stupid? Or what if you look dumb? Or what if you slip up? Or what if people are just like, why is this person talking about this? It's not fully thought through, right? But here's the thing. I can't tell you how many times I have personally challenged myself where I'm like, all right, like I want to get clear on how I feel about this issue, or I keep getting the same question from my audience and I don't have a great response yet because I'm still trying to figure out how I feel about this thing, right? It's okay to not have the answers to everything. And rather than keep that internal, start to test content, start to experiment. So what that means is going live and starting to work through your ideas of, what it is that you are thinking about. So for example, if you have an idea for a course, right? Let's say it's a course about, I'll just make something up. Let's say it's a course about becoming a hairdresser, right? And you're like, okay, I've never really launched a course about working with hairdressers. And one of the topics in the course is about the best tools that you can buy at the beginning of your hairdressing career. I'm not a hairdresser, as you guys know. So look, I'm like wearing a crazy ponytail on this live. Yeah, but let's say let's say that's content that you're like, are people really gonna want this? Test it. So that means go live or record a video on the topics that you want to put in your course and start to explore, right? Start to figure out, oh, is this hitting home with people? What questions do they have? What worked? What didn't work? Right? Something like that. Or maybe you have an idea for a webinar and you're like, I don't really know if this topic is going to hit home. Or maybe you've got an idea for a workshop or even like a course idea, something. Test it. Like, don't feel like everything has to be perfect, polished, figured out. Use the time that you record to start to experiment with those ideas, right? And in the experimentation phase, you're going to figure out the pathways for like what's going to sound the best, right? What's going to help people what's literally going to help people understand the message that you are trying to communicate in the quickest way possible. Which ways that you're explaining things might not be hitting home, right? And like it's the same thing I just talked about earlier, like build those muscles for like this new topic, like start to get really comfortable in this new topic, right? So let me know if this is something that you have done before or this is familiar to you. You can just give me like a yes or no in the chat. But I think one important thing as a creator is like, you can be authentic and like you don't have to be an authority all the time. You can experiment, right? You can test, you can evolve the content that I'm creating for you today. I guarantee in a year from now, I'll probably have a different perspective. I'll probably be like, what was I thinking? Like, what? Like, why was I telling people this on this live? And maybe not. Maybe things will stay pretty consistent. But there's a real possibility that could happen. Like, this is me learning and experimenting. How do I feel about this topic? And if you go in with the mindset that you're forever learning and experimenting, right, things are going to consistently change. If you're a person who's always evolving and learning and growing and up-leveling. Okay, so far, we've gone through the big 2 reasons why you should create even if you haven't launched. Number 1 is experience building the muscle set. Number 2 is experimentation, right? Starting to test ideas, flesh out ideas, give yourself space to create and get clarity. And the last thing that we're going to talk about is engagement or brand awareness. And I kind of alluded to this earlier, and this is probably the most obvious of all the reasons why you should create. But here's the truth of it. There is no quick fix to building trust with your audience. There just isn't. There's never going to be, right? And with how much competition is out there and with how easy it is for people to access information on LinkedIn and YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and everywhere, Google, like there's just information everywhere, right? And so that means that the amount of effort that you need to put into building awareness for your brand, you want to think about like having so many touch points, having so many opportunities to reach your audience, right? And so either you can start sooner, right? You can start creating videos sooner. You can start getting those touch points in even before you have something to sell, because a lot of times it takes people some time before, as you know, before they're ready, especially if you're selling something higher tickets. So it just gives you that leg up. Like you're already building brand awareness, right? And here's the thing. If you are in the mindset where you're like, I don't know what I'm going to get out of video if I start creating now because I haven't launched yet, or I don't know what I'm selling. I don't know what I have to lose yet, right? It's all about what's in it for me, right? And that's the wrong way to be looking at things. When you flip that and you're obsessed with how do I help the person on the other side? How is this video going to help them regardless of if I know what I'm selling or not? I know I can help them, right? Because clearly you have expertise in this area that you're trying to create a product or service in. Just because it's not done doesn't mean you don't have the ability to help already, right? So, but when you are focused so egocentrically where you're like, and every question's about how do I do this or how do I make money or how do I blah, 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 instead of focusing on the transformation that you can already be getting for your audience, right? That's where the real issue is. And when I encounter creators who are very focused on the I, almost always they are short-term thinkers and they are playing the short-term game. Meaning that usually they're thinking, all right, I need to sell something now because I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to do this because I feel like giving up, right? And usually it's just, I don't know how, or usually it's, I need to sell something now. And the subcontext is because I'm going to give up, right? Like I need the quick win and the good feeling of selling something because I am ready to give up. I need the immediate gratification because I am ready to give up soon. That's the subcontext of this, right? The really, really incredible content creators, the incredible brands are the ones who play the long game. And oh my gosh, I have an amazing ads mentor, Laura Portier. Maybe some of you know her, follow her content. Let me know if you do. She's amazing. But one of the things she says all the time that really, really hit home with me was like, think about some of the biggest brands. Think about like Nike, or think about like a Sephora, or think about, it's like big brands are like eluding me in this moment. But let's say like Nike, right? Do you think Nike runs a commercial and then is like constantly checking their ad account and they're like, oh my God, did we convert enough from this one video? Like, no, they're not even focused on conversion. They're literally just focused on building awareness. They're just focused on constantly, everywhere you look, kind of being there versus being obsessed with like the nitty gritty, like how does each individual thing perform? And I'm sure they have people who look at some of that stuff, but the takeaway that you should be having from what I'm saying is that big brands are around for so long because they think long term, because they're playing the long game, because they're not obsessed with one video. They're not obsessed with one piece of content. They're not obsessed with selling one thing short term. It's like, what longer, bigger impact am I trying to have? Right? I see Lena here saying yes, Alma here saying yes. Perfect. So I hope this is really hitting home with you. So if you take anything away from this, if you're the person who feels like I just have to sell something right now, like I get it, right? Like I remember being new and feeling like if I didn't sell, like I wasn't going to be able to stay in business and would I have to go back to my job and I'm investing all this money. Like I feel you, like you do have to make money, right? So you got to figure out a way to make money, but you also got to figure out how to have a way to make sure that you're playing the long game. And the long game means sticking around, creating content for the long term, creating a library of videos that are going to be consumed long term. Like how I think about this content I'm creating right now. Sure, I'm live right now for all of you, but this is a video that people a year from now can watch, 2 years from now can watch. And it's stuff that like I can reflect back on, I can repurpose in so many ways. It's something that's going to live on forever, right? It's part of this like legacy about video that I feel like I'm leaving. So this is incredibly important. Play the wrong game. Think about brand awareness versus just quick, immediate gratification, right? And then when you are ready to sell, when you are ready to launch, you are going to have people that are there. If you're doing what you should be, if you're doing a good job, you are going to have people there that are excited for you. They're like, heck yes, you got the stuff launched. I've been following you along for all this time. I'm so ready to cheer you on. I'm so ready to invest. I'm so ready to do this with you because they've just been in your ecosystem for so long, right? And you're not just everyone else to them. You're someone that's been, more deeply in their life. So those are the top 3. Let me know if you guys have questions so far. I'll hang out for a little bit. I see someone saying yes, was giving this advice to a 7-year-old last night. Oh, that's funny. I'd be interested to hear that. Alma saying long game. Perfect. Awesome. So let me know if you have any questions at all. But I hope this really helped those of you who are like, should I do this? Shouldn't I do this? With creating video content, had some really good reminders. And just so you know, as a reminder, it's August 26th, 2022 right now. August 30th, a couple of days from now, next Tuesday, it's coming up. We've got the social growth with video live mini course that I am going to be offering totally free. If you haven't grabbed a ticket to the mini course, make sure you do that. It's in the description of this video. I am going to go through the top 3 winning principles to growing your audience with video in 2022. And I'm going to do my best to make these 3 principles that we go through very timeless. So what that means is, like, regardless of what platform, regardless of changing algorithms, regardless of any of that stuff that's kind of ephemeral and ever changing, I'm going to go through some of the timeless things, some of the things that are always going to be true, right? That you can always be applying regardless of what those changes look like. So make sure you go and grab your ticket. I see someone saying, I'll have to watch this again. This is so good. Ooh, I love that. I'm so glad to hear that. I see someone saying, I'm just starting out with video and not going live. Okay for beginners, or do you want to practice going live from the start? I'm fine. Like, live or pre-recorded, it doesn't matter. Consistency is absolutely the most important thing. Pick a time every week. Like, for me, I was like, Tuesday at 7 Eastern. Every week I have to be religious about it. And lately for me in this group, it's been Friday at 2. I had to pick up someone from the airport today, so I moved it to 5 Central. But it's been religiously for the last couple months at 5 p.m. Right? So just pick a time. The reason I like live is just because when you are using, when you are going live, there's like no editing and then recording and re-recording. So like when I would pre-record videos when I was new, it would take me like a million takes. So I'd be like, all right, record, and then I'd mess something up, and then I'd have to retake it, and then I spent all this time editing, versus like live, I literally just hit record. There's going to be no editing of this video, right? It's literally just going to be this video as it is. So that's why I like live. And but either way. Okay, great question. Awesome. Okay, I see someone saying, or almost saying, I started doing that, but then I feel like not enough people are showing up. Here's the thing, and this is the last thing I'll say before I jump off here today. You have to be completely detached from the outcome. Completely. It does not matter if 1 person shows up, if 0 people show up, if 100 people show up. Do you think anybody was watching my lives when I started? No. Do you think anybody was watching the videos I was doing when I started? No. Right? Like, absolutely not. But here's the thing, the people who have success versus not using video, and this is really just a general overall success with business principle. It's the people who consistently take action and are completely detached. If you are going on this roller coaster where you're like, oh, well, 1 person showed up, no one showed up, 1 person, no one showed up. No, get off that. It does not matter if 0 people show up or 100 people show up. You are consistently building this muscle. You are consistently taking action. And it doesn't mean that you don't stop and assess your results, right? Like in my programs, like my Video Marketing Accelerator, like every month we take time to look at their Facebook groups and their videos and their results and make tweaks, right? And we up level, we upskill, but it doesn't mean we stop showing up. So consistently show up, know how to pause, know how to troubleshoot, and then keep evolving from there. Yeah, and if you're doing the right thing, and if you're consistently troubleshooting and evolving, people will eventually show up, but they will never show up if you go in with this mindset that, oh, not enough people are showing up. So I hope that helps. I think that's just something that maybe will help a lot of people who are listening. Okay. All right. I'm going to pause here. I hope that this video was helpful for all of you today. Again, grab your ticket to the Social Growth with Video live mini course, totally free, next week, August 30th, if you're watching this here live. And I will look forward to seeing you all very, very soon. If you watch today's video live, drop me a hashtag live, or if you watch the replay, drop me a hashtag replay. And if you want to go a step further, drop your biggest takeaway on this video right here. I'd love to go back and read whatever good stuff you got from it. All right. Thanks for your time. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll talk to you soon.